Hi, I'm doing a persuasive speech on gambling, and this is my husband Eric, who will be watching my speech. Basically, gambling is betting your money, or on a game or an event. Could be a sporting event. Um, Comes in a variety of forms. It can be casinos, card games, dice, slots, online, scratch-offs, pull tabs, Powerball. Um, it can be horse betting. Any kind of gambling is gambling. Um, and did you know that gambling is an addiction? Gambling. I want to show you the good and the bad, everything about it. Gambling is bad. I want to change your mind about gambling. It's a big business for the governments in the United States and all the states. It's an addiction for people because it's psychological or compulsive to them. They can't stop. And it mainly affects low-income people, which you probably didn't know. You would think that it would affect people with a lot of money because they have the resources to spend on gambling, but it doesn't. And basically, with big businesses, people are spending $91 billion a year on gambling. Those who can't afford it spend more money a year on gambling. Again, casinos, cards, dice, slots, or riverboat casinos, scratch-offs, pull tabs, Powerballs. It affects 47 states that I know that do gambling. Only Hawaii and Utah do not allow gambling. Indian reservations allow gambling, and it is big business for them. And the elders of the Indian reservations do not like gambling because it threatens their way of life and their values. Online, it's a big business there. $3 billion a year was spent last year alone on online businesses or online gambling. But there's a lot of legal issues with online because people are gambling online. You can do it from anywhere on any computer, and people aren't doing it in their own state. They're doing it in another country, and that's why it's becoming a problem. And an addiction. It's just like any other addiction, like drugs and alcohol, because it's so compulsive to people. They can't stop. It's pathological gambling. People that gamble, 2/3 of the people that gamble have a problem. And people with an addiction are usually in debt. It harms their family, parents and children especially. An addiction is a mental disorder established in 1980 by psychiatrists. And I know it is an addiction from experience. Not myself, but my mother. My whole life, she had to spend, as soon as she got her paycheck, she had to go buy lottery tickets, spend it all. It was very harmful to her, to me emotionally. We lived in a rundown house. I hardly had money to buy school stuff. I didn't have the best of everything because of that. It's been a long journey with me and my mom. We fought a lot over the years about her addiction. It's gotten too far to the point now that I can't do anything about it, and that's why I'm doing this today, is because I want people to get the help they need before it gets to become an addiction to them. And people may not even know it's an addiction, but I want them to get the help before it becomes an addiction. And if it does become an addiction, like my mom, she doesn't want to get the help she needs. And some people, they have to want to get the help. And so, if people want to get the help, this is a good thing to pay attention to. You know, and like me and my family, it mainly affects low-income people because they think it is a get-quick-rich scheme. And it is, but it isn't, because you're not going to get rich right off the bat. I mean, you have to spend a lot to get money back, and if you spend it, you may not always get it back, and you're going to want to spend more and more and more, and you may not get it all back, and it's just not a good cycle, because the cycle just repeats itself over and over, and you can win a couple bucks and not get it back. The really only benefit to low-income people with this would be government social programs, social service programs that it benefits with the taxes that it brings in. But usually low-income people with under $10,000 in income spend 8 times their income on gambling, on lottery, and that is quite an alarming number. It usually affects African Americans and the uneducated population, and I hate to say it, but yes, my mother is uneducated. She didn't graduate high school, but not to say that there's a statistic in it or anything, but solutions. I would like people to get the help before it gets that far, but if they can't, you know, there's always Gamblers Anonymous. It's just like Alcoholics Anonymous. It started in 1957. There's also 1-800-BETS-OFF if people really want to get the help themselves. Or you can call that number for somebody else that you think has a problem. They may not want to get the help, but it's there if they need it. And another option would be talking to our government officials. It may not do any good, but it can't hurt. And my conclusion is that gambling is a problem. You know, with all the big businesses, the government's controlling it. There's not a lot we can do about it, but we can help these people. Because it's an addiction for a lot of people, including my mother. We can get them the help they need, because it affects low-income people more than we know. It hurts them. You know, and I say we get these people the help they need, and, you know, help them before it becomes a problem. And we talk to maybe our government officials about it. And so that's my persuasive speech. Thank you.